Good afternoon, everybody. 3:20, 24th of September. After a extended break, back over to the garage to continue some body work, and going to continue with the deck lid here, or the boot lid. Continue work on that. Try to get the majority of the dents out. Should be able to hopefully get that done tonight. A couple creases that I got to deal with and kind of teach myself how I'm doing that. I also want to get these brackets welded in that I didn't get to last time I was here, and then maybe move on to some more bonnet work. Pretty good discussion in the based on the last video about the hammer and dolly work and not using filler and everything. Just so that everybody knows, I do have a gallon of Evercoat Rage filler there waiting for use. But I do feel some desire, both from a learning and seeing what I can do standpoint, and a more appropriate repair vise cover, to just instead of slapping some filler on there, actually trying to get it to pretty close to true, and then going from there and using the filler to get the stuff out that I'm not going to be able to get out. I don't expect to be able to repair it completely with a hammer and dolly, but we'll see how it goes. So that's the plan for tonight. All right, about 4:50. Got a little, had a visitor, so I got a little behind, but I got these brackets welded in, cleaned up pretty much. Not going to take some work there, but this side's a little bit better. So, not perfect, but again, you're going to see very little to none of this, the valance here, so I'm not incredibly concerned. But I'm going to hang this back up, get it out of the way, except for like final prep. As far as I'm concerned, she's ready for epoxy primer. Continuing down the path of hammer and dolly work on the boot lid. Pretty much this half here, if you can see towards the back, I'm adequately happy with right now. Trying to get these, you can see the low spot here, guy here and here. I'm just going to try to get those out a little bit more. Quite a bit of high spots in here, so I've got some room to work. But this, I'm sure I haven't started to scuff up this side of it at all. I'm sure there's going to be some similar stuff, though this doesn't feel incredibly bad. Pretty good dent right there. So I'm just going to slowly work my way down and continue on. Alright, so this is probably killing the people that think I should be putting Bondo down. But in the interest of doing that, I think I am done with the majority of the hammer and dolly work. I'm going to do some shrink disking and just kind of feel as I go along here. Try to get out the large high spots, or the highest high spots. There's one right here, a couple in throughout here. Still got this big crease here. Still got this crease here. A couple low spots right on the bend here. If you can see that, let me see. Yeah, a couple low spots right on the end. I guess I should have turned this around. Probably wasn't very exciting. So I'm just going to try to knock out some of these high spots to bring them down into the lows and just kind of see how that works. Who knows? Actually, I think what I'm going to do first is for some of the deeper lows here, like this crease and that crease. These couple guys here, I think I'm going to try just to work hammer, or not hammer and dolly, but just hammer from the inside. See if I can get any luck out of that. Might be kind of hard to determine where everything is. Got my rag, got my water bottle. Find my first spot here. Got them all knocked. Let's see how it feels. Still a pretty good high spot right there. This came to a low spot, if anything. Alright, so I'll knock this one down and then I'll pick that one up. Alright, well, I think I'm going to be happy with that. Unfortunately now, what has to happen is I got to get more epoxy on this. It's about 6:30 right now. I don't really have time to put the epoxy on. I also need to do some research. I know there's some minimal amount of time that you should wait from the time you put epoxy down until the time you put filler down. I don't want to be putting it on bare metal. I think I can probably get away with just scuffing the epoxy up and then putting filler down, but I don't want to put the epoxy on, or excuse me, the filler on bare metal. That's not, it's not what's recommended by the guys that make the epoxy. So that's probably going to be done with the boot lid for now. And I'm going to double check the front valance now that I did some welding on that to make sure that I didn't knock anything out there. And then we'll see probably doors next. Got the door out here, and I'm going to start hitting with 80 grit just to see how bad it is. I already know that it's not so hot. Alright, so in your view, the whiter spots are the highs. These right here is bare metal, that's really high. And then the darker spots are the lows. So that's all sorts of stuff going on. So just like with the boot lid, I'll take care of the nastier stuff. It's pretty bad right there. That might be the deepest one that I've got throughout the whole door. Feeling around. Unfortunately, I got a couple good dings right on the seam here. This area right in here is pretty messed up. I think the door took a shot there with something. There was some holes and some body filler there, if I remember correctly. Real nice high spot right there, followed by a low spot. That'll be relatively easy to get out, I think, if I can get to it. But yeah, right here, that's my biggest spot. And there's also, if you can see the little, like right there, that little hole, those little holes there, I hit that with weld metal. So I definitely, there was definitely some primer, or excuse me, some body filler there. So also, if you can see kind of that snakeskin appearance here, those little dots, that's what the epoxy did. And that I pointed out, I think in my research, that it pretty much comes down to the fact that my first coat was too heavy. That's something that this SPI epoxy does. They recommend you put on a lighter first coat, and then after that, and you get that, let that cure up a little bit, then you're pretty safe. And I didn't catch or pick up on that, so that's my guess there. Got a run right there. I'll take care of that. But anyway, hammer and dolly time. Alright, so what you see there is a mistake. Pretty sure what I did is I had the dolly like this to dang down the high spot, and instead I got on dolly and did it a little too much and essentially made a really high spot here and another kind of high spot here. But you can, I mean, I can feel that with my fingertips. It's so sharp, not the entire palm of my hand. So what I'm going to do now is use the shrinking disc and try to take care of that, because that's pretty extreme. So we'll see if that works for me. Alright, well, that definitely took the brunt of it out. Let's see if I can work with some hammer and dolly now properly, not to mess this up. That's still a pretty big low spot. 7 o'clock or so, calling it an evening. Got some stuff I want to take care of at home before Betty bye time. So again, I was working on the boot lid, started on the door a little bit. Got some pretty good spots on this door that are going to require some significant attention. Access is not as good on the door because of the other side, obviously, that it was on the boot lid. But hopefully it's not too bad. The other door is probably in similar shape. So even though you might see a lot of modeled look to this, by the feel of it, it's not as bad as the boot lid was. So hopefully that will actually hold true and I won't be ready to pull my hair out. Again, some of you may be wondering and shaking your head and, you know, what is Fisher doing all this hammer and dolly work? Just put filler on it. And I will get myself to that point. But like I had said at the very beginning, and the whole point of making this channel is I want to show you guys how I am doing it and my approach. And then you can make your judgment call on whether or not it's the approach for you. And obviously the mistakes that I'm going to make, like I made with this spot and I already pointed out, and why I made it and how I made it, that's important to me. To one, helps me talk through it, and two, again, that's what the point of this channel is for, to show you how a rookie is going about it and when I do my best research and how I think it should be done. So filler to me, and it always has been to me, just like it was to my grandpa, filler is a cover, it's not a repair. So I want to try to repair as much as possible. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm taking my time. So the boot lid for me right now is as good as it's going to get. At least with hammer and dolly work, the front valance is also, I'm happy with that. They both need to get into epoxy primer again and get the bare spots covered. Both doors. Once I get those doors done, I'll get them in epoxy primer and then start the filler process and work my way out of them, hopefully. Obviously, the bonnet's still sitting over there, bright red in color, or not bright red, but dull red in color. She needs some work still as well. And, you know, there's that other thing called the tub over there that's laughing at me every time I walk in. So that's all I've got for the week. Slowly creeping up on that 1,000 number at about 960 or so last time I checked, which was, you know, 5 minutes ago. So thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting, especially the last video. A lot of good comments on that. Keep that stuff coming. I enjoy the back and forth. Helps me learn, helps me question, and make sure I know what I am doing to the best of what I think I can, and reinforce me thinking I am right or convincing me that I am wrong. And as always, thanks for subscribing. So have a good rest of your week. Have a good night. Cheers.